All right, hey guys, we're back with some more math videos. These will be centered around the distance problems that you will find on the ACT. It'll also help you with the SAT material as well, since they both test the same subject matter, although they do it a little bit different from one another. Hopefully these will help you. And please keep in mind, we are looking to help young adults who do not have help outside of school, that need a good, reliable resource. And you can participate with us to help us find more young adults that we can be a help to by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And I would really appreciate it. Well, with that in mind, let's get moving to the first question. All right, question number 1. When a certain map is drawn in a standard XY coordinate plane, one city has coordinates 5, 6, and another 9, 12. If one coordinate unit corresponds to 25 miles or is equal to 25 miles, you can look at it that way. Which of the following is closest to the distance between the two cities? Well, that's just a simple distance problem, and using the distance formula will be very helpful to you. But you need to pay attention to the conversion factor they gave you, or the number 1, where they say 1 mile, one coordinate unit is equal to 25 miles. This will be important. Now, our points are 9, 12, and 5, 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. And when I do that, I'm going to label this one here x sub 2. That'll be y sub 2. This will be x sub 1, and then y sub 1. So the third thing I can do is put that into the distance formula. And that's going to be x2 minus x1. So that's going to be, let me set it up here for you, x2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. We're going to take the square root of all that. Boom. So let's fill in what we know. Put step 4 over here. So we're going to let x sub 2 be our 9. So we're going to say 9 minus the 5. And then we're going to square that result. And then we're going to say 12 minus 6. We're going to square that result. So 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 squared plus 12 minus 6 is 6. Becomes 6 squared. Now, 4 squared is 16. Plus 6 squared is 36. 16 and 36 gives us 1252. So the square root of 52. So the distance between those 2 points is the square root of 52. Now we need to take in our conversion factor. 1 unit is equal to 25 miles. So we're going to take the square root of 52 and multiply it by 25. And when we do that, we're going to get, and use your calculator for this, you're going to get 180.27. And notice in the question, it says closest to the straight line distance. Which is closest to the straight line distance? So 0.27 will round down to 180, which is answer choice H. Okay, next question. So we got a figure here, and it says surveyors want to determine a pond's length. And it says represented by line segment AB in the figure below. They place stakes at points A, B, C, D, and E so that C is the intersection of BE and AD. And so that AB is parallel to DE. Now, the distance between certain stakes are shown in the figure. What is the pond's length? So we're looking for AB. So, AB is the longest. So I'm just going to say, the longest in relationship to X, I guess I could say, or yeah, which would be equal to the longest in relationship to the known. All right, so let's fill in some numbers and make this more specific. So our longest side with AB is 42, and AB is going to be our X. And then the smaller triangle, our longest side will be the 30 over the parallel side, DE 40. Now we have a proportion, cross, multiply, and divide. 40 times 42 is equal to 30 times X. 40 times 42 becomes 1,680. Now solve for X by dividing by 30. And that's going to give us 56. And that's going to be answer choice H. So in this case, we just needed to set up a proportion. All right, so next. Number 7. So on a map, 1/2 inch represents 10 actual miles. So we've got another conversion factor here. So 1/2 inch represents 10 actual miles. So 1/2 inch is equal to 10 miles. Two towns that are 4.5 inches apart on this map are how many actual miles apart? Well, I would rather work with improper fractions. So I'm going to convert the 4.5 to an improper fraction. So that's going to make 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9, 9/2. Okay. So we know 1/2 inch per 10 miles. And that will be equal to 9/2 over X. Because we're looking for the distance, and miles is in the denominator of both fractions. Now, well, we can do our math, right? So we're going to say 1/2 times X is equal to 9/2 times 10. So that's going to be 90, rewritten as 90 over 2 is equal to 1/2 X. Now we're going to divide 90/2 by 1/2. So we're going to divide a fraction, 90/2, divided by 1/2. Remember, when you divide by a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. So that's going to be equal to saying 90/2 times 2 over 1. And that's going to be 180 divided by 2. 180 divided by 2 is 90. So we are 90 miles apart. And that's going to be answer choice E. All righty. Let's go to the next question. So on a real number line, oh, cool. So they're giving us a number line. Point J is at -7 and point K is at -14. So let's just do this. Let's sketch a number line. Here's origin. So we need all the way to -14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So -14. And then the other point is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Here's 7, -7. Okay, -7, -14. Now, what is the distance between the two? Well, just count the divisions, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 from here to here. And so our answer choice will be H. Number lines always help. Move on to the next one. So a cab company. This is a long paragraph. A cab company picks up a passenger at a point that is designated on the map as 7, -3, which is 7 miles east and 3 miles south of the cab company's headquarters. All right. From 7, -3, the cab travels 4 miles due north, 5 miles due east, and then 2 miles due west, where the passenger is dropped off. That's a lot to comprehend. So with that in mind, one of the better things we might want to do is draw a graph to help keep everything in order. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sketch a graph. Now we got 0.7, -3. So I'm just going to put up here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 divisions. And then we know we're going over the X distance of 7. So we're going to put at least 7, maybe 12 divisions over here on the X axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that would be 12. And we know we're going to come down at least 3 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3. There's -3. 4, 5, 6. Let's just put 6 there. And we don't look like we're using any numbers that are negative in our points. So they don't tell us where the cab company is. So we're going to make that at the origin, 0, 0. All right, cab company CO for 0, 0. So it's right there. They tell us we pick up the passenger at 0.7, -3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. There's 7. And -3 will be right about there. That's where we pick them up at. And then they say from 7, -3, the cab travels 4 miles due north. So if we go 4 miles due north from that point, we end up at a y value of 7, 1. Then it says 5 miles due east. So 7 and 5 is 12. So we're going to end up over here at 12, 1. And then it goes on to say 2 miles due west. So we're going to go back 2 miles west, and we're going to end up here. So we're going to end up at 10. 10, 1 is where we're going to end up at right here. Which of the following is closest to the straight line distance in miles? The cab is from the cab company in the headquarters. So we end up right here at 10,1. So we're talking about the cab company being here at the origin, right? So if we draw a line that way, look what's starting to develop, a triangle. So we can draw in a line here, and then we can use the x-axis as the other side. So we know this distance of the triangle is 1, and we know the distance on the x-axis is at 10, 0. So we know that that side of the triangle is a distance of 10. So 10 and 1. Now we can use Pythagorean's theorem to get the hypotenuse of our triangle. So a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. 10 squared plus 1 squared is equal to c squared. So 10 squared is 100. 1 squared is 1. And that's equal to c squared. So 101 is equal to c squared. Now we're going to take the square root of both sides. So 101, when you take the square root of it, it's like 10.04. Now, notice what it says, which of the following is closest? So they use the word closest. So our answer would be J, 10. All right. One more. And they've got a line drawn for us. For AC, shown below, B is on AC. The length of AB is 12 centimeters, and the length of BC is 20. What is the distance in centimeters between C and the midpoint of AB? Okay, so let me just redraw the line here. And we know A's here. We know B's right about here. And we know C is here. They tell us that BC is 20. So from B to C is 20. And they tell us that AB is 12. So from A to C, you can see what the total is now. Then it goes on and says, what is the distance in centimeters between C and the midpoint of AB? Well, the midpoint of AB has to be at 6. So we can say midpoint is like right here, and here's B. So that's going to be 6. And you know the distance from B to C is 20. And so therefore, the distance between the midpoint of AB and C is a total of 26. And that turns out to be answer choice J. Okay, guys, that's our last one. I'm keeping these real short, to the point, so they don't get overly burdensome. Those are a good example of what's shown up on the ACT over a broad spectrum of years. And it should be good enough to help you with each portion, like knowing the distance formula and then using proportions and sketching a little graph or number line to help you figure out distances between two objects on a graph. The ACT is coming up soon. I know a lot of you out there studying diligently. Let's hope diligently. Good luck to you all. Just remember, stay focused on your studies on test day. Stay focused on the exam. Don't focus on time. Pick 2 points in each exam section to look at the time. don't look at the time multiple times. If you do look at the clock multiple times, you're more focused on the time of the exam rather than the exam, and that will be distracting. And it will create a lot of anxiety. So pick about 2 points in each exam section to look at the clock to keep your pace, and that's it. So good luck to you guys, and I'll see you next time.